Let's go down to Austin and listen in to this event as they talk about voting rights in the city of Austin, Texas.
That representation has shifted to allowing the representatives to choose their own voters instead of the voters choosing who represents them. And we need that to stop right now. So when state employees are working, when there's a crisis in our state like COVID and the freeze, it's state employees that stand up. And right now we see state employees being used as a pawn for political gain by cutting the budget of Article 10, an entire branch of the government that has state employees that work tirelessly for our state and our government and that volunteered their time during COVID to help work with the Workers' Compensation Commission to be able to provide much needed benefits to our state. They worked their butts off, and we are not allowing them to even know that they'll be paid when September comes. This is unacceptable that we use state employees as a pawn, and we cannot let that stand. And we urge everybody to work tirelessly to ensure that the walkout was not done in vain, and that our state employees are protected, but also our voting rights, so that we can reclaim our rightful place of choosing our representatives and not letting them choose us through gerrymandering and voter suppression here in the state. But thank you, everybody, and keep up the hard work.
My name is Pastor Maxie Johnson. I serve as the second vice president for the Dallas Independent School Board trustee. I serve District 5. I think it's ridiculous that we're still dealing with the critical race theory. When I ran for school board trustee, I ran for racial equity, equitable resources, quality programs. I serve black and brown communities. Education inequity leads to poverty, and poverty leads to violence. If you're against equity, then that means you're supporting poverty in certain communities. If you're against equity, then that means you're supporting violence in certain communities. I was reading today, as we was coming down here, this foundation, Texas Public Policy Foundation, they gave the buzzwords what they call for critical race theory: equity, diversity, inclusion, social justice, anti-racism. They call that the buzzwords. But that is what we're fighting in the black and brown community. We're fighting inequities. We're fighting against racism. It's no secret that certain communities have been disenfranchised and forgotten about. Now the time is here. We want to let those lawmakers know that we see you coming. You're playing musical chairs with this theory. We see you coming, and we're going to fight. We're going to stand for our black and brown kids. They deserve to know history. I'm not going to let no lawmaker try to tell our teachers what to teach in our classrooms. We're going to fight. And we're not just by ourselves. The community going to fight. The grassroots organizations going to fight. Our trustees are going to fight. Our teachers are going to fight. And our kids are going to fight. No justice, no peace.
Wow, let me thank so much Latasha for coming with Black Voters Matter all the way from Georgia. Wherever Latasha is, that's where I want to be, because she is a fighter. And we thank God for her. We thank God for Next Generation Action Network. So proud of Dominique Alexander and those amazing young people and all who have coalesced to stand against justice. I simply have come here today to say, in the words of that wonderful character from the movie Friday, you ain't got to lie, Greg. You ain't got to lie, Greg. You ain't got to lie, Greg reflects the reality that Governor Greg Abbott, along with his Trumplican acolytes, have called together this suppression session because they are afraid for democracy to flourish. Governor Abbott, you ain't got to lie, Greg. You ain't got to lie about the fact that what you are doing is in direct connection with what took place on January 6th. On January 6th, some racist terrorists tried to hijack the election. And what they did on January 6th is connected to what Greg Abbott and his Trumplican acolytes are doing here in this suppression session. And so all we got to say is, you ain't got to lie, Greg. You ain't got to lie, Greg, because what you are trying to do is to choose your voters as opposed to allowing voters to choose their politicians. You ain't got to lie, Greg, because what we know is that you would rather have an electorate that is older, that is whiter, that is wealthier, and an electorate that is abler. You ain't gotta lie, Greg. We see what you are up to. We see what you are all about. These bills you are trying to pass are racist, they are ableist, they are sexist, they are transphobic, they are anti-God, because my Bible says, woe to you who legislate evil and oppress those who are poor. That's in the Bible, and you ain't gotta lie, Greg. You ain't gotta lie, Greg, because, Greg, the bottom line is democracy is at stake. Greg Abbott and his Trumplican liars have declared war on the essence of democracy. But I love the fact that we are standing here with our Democratic representatives who said we ain't going down without a fight. We ain't going down without a fight in the name of Fannie Lou Hamer, in the name of Martin Luther King Jr., in the name of Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney. We ain't going down without a fight in the name of John Lewis. And since we ain't going down without a fight, thank y'all for doing that, because I've discovered the wisdom of one Mary McLeod Bethune. She says, if I touch you with the finger, I may get your attention. 2 fingers perhaps, but let me bring them fingers together and form a fist, and I've got the power to knock your behind out. That's LL Cool J. Mama said knock you out. And so what we gonna do?
All right, guys, we've been listening in here, city of Austin. As you can see, a lot of supporters of voting rights have come out and are giving their own speeches here. Again, this is a topic that has been trending here today, as Vice President Kamala Harris says that Democrats are going to be investing $25 million into a I Will Vote campaign to help try to fight for voting rights across the U.S.